Welcome to the Mortgage Podcast, where we give tactics, strategies, and inspiration to get you to 10 plus loans per month. We talk a lot about how to make a ton of money in mortgage while also being happy and thriving in your personal life. If you want to be a mortgage millionaire, you're in the right place.
Welcome back to the book reading of Dare to Sell by Todd Scrima. We're going to do Chapter 8, The Downward Spiral. By week 5, Lauren was slipping. She had barely made a dent in her database, had only managed 15 of the required 100 calls, and had set up one meeting. She told herself she'd do more tomorrow, but tomorrow always seemed filled up with other things. Mark had been out of town for a couple days. The kids' schedules were chaotic, and her pipeline was moving too slowly. She was working, but the results weren't showing fast enough. It felt like she was pushing on a boulder uphill, alone. And then yesterday happened. Her coaching call had been brutal. Lisa, her coach, had called her out, pressing her on the numbers. This isn't about being busy, Lauren. It's about priority. Do you really want this, or are you just pretending? Lauren snapped. You don't know what I'm dealing with. You act like I have nothing else in my life but work. Lisa stayed quiet for a minute, then simply said, if you keep thinking that way, you'll never get there. The words stuck with her. And did she even want to get there anymore? Her phone rang. It was Jim Reed, the head coach. She sighed, bracing herself. Hi, Jim. How you doing? I'm good, Jim said. Then he paused. But I'm concerned. I heard about your coaching call yesterday. It sounds like you're not following through. Tell me what's going on. Lauren exhaled. Well, I've been overwhelmed, and one of my deals is having appraisal issues. Lauren, the assignment wasn't unreasonable. Calling 100 people to support your own business isn't too much to ask. And the appraisal? That's your processor's job. Loan officers fall into two groups. Those who sell and take action, and those who want to say they want to sell, but never actually do. Which one are you? Well, I want to sell. I just got busy, she mumbled. Jim's tone sharpened. Can I be direct? She hesitated. Sure. I need you to really think about this. Do you want something bigger for your career, or are you just telling yourself you do? Because right now, you're feeding yourself popcorn and calling it chicken. They aren't the same thing. Popcorn and chicken? What the hell's he talking about, Lauren thought. Jim didn't wait for a response. You're either all in or you're not. Choose. The call ended. Lauren stared at the phone, fuming. She opened her laptop and drafted a resignation letter to her branch manager. Her hands hovered over the send button. Would quitting really fix anything? Something in her gut told her no. She saved the email in her drafts and closed her laptop. When she got home, Mark was waiting. The kids are at a friend's house until 8:30 tonight, he said. I'm making chicken parmesan and opening your favorite wine. I'm not hungry, she said, slumping into the kitchen bar stool. Mark sat down with the wooden spoon and came to sit next to her. All right, talk to me. What's wrong? She sighed. I bombed my coaching call. Jim tore into me today. I just don't think I can do this. Mark wrapped an arm around her. Slow down. I need to tell you something important. She glanced at him. Okay. You know Rachel, our operations manager? Of course. She's been there forever. She collapsed at work today. They rushed her to the ER. Stage 4 brain cancer. Lauren's breath caught in her throat. Oh my God. A few of us left early to see her. I talked to her husband, David, and he just broke down. Tears welled in Lauren's eyes. She's an amazing woman. I'll never forget her stories about those mission trips to Peru. Mark nodded. They gave her 8 weeks. His voice was tight. We're all praying, but we know. He hesitated. I want to ask you something, and it's pretty big. Anything. I would like us to carry on her mission work if she can't. Not alone, maybe with a few other couples, but I feel like we could make a real difference. Lauren swallowed hard. Mark continued, recounting one of Rachel's stories. She told me once about a 7-year-old boy at the orphanage. He was so traumatized by past abuse that when David shook his hand, the kid actually peed himself. Lauren covered her mouth. She told me how that moment shattered David, how it changed him. He wasn't there to help kids in poverty anymore. He was there to save children from a lifetime of fear. Mark took a breath. I just don't want Rachel's work to die with her. I want to pick it up and keep it going, and I want to do it with you. Tears streamed down Lauren's face. I want to help. Fundraising, trips, whatever it takes. The kids want to help too. Mark exhaled, gripping her hand. I didn't want you to text you this. I needed to talk to you. He squeezed her hand. But what's going on with work? Something shifted inside of Lauren. It was as if she was watching herself from above, seeing two versions of herself. One was small, scared, and ready to quit because things got hard. The other was standing in front of her husband, who wanted to give to people instead of take. Rachel may never get to do the work again. And here Lauren was, ready to walk away from an opportunity because she was afraid. Shame flooded through her. She wasn't a victim. She was just avoiding the work. That night, she made 3 vows to herself. Number 1, she would stop blaming and start doing. Number 2, she would give back instead of worrying about money. Number 3, she would stop making decisions out of fear. For 2 hours, she and Mark laughed, cried, and planned. For the first time in her life, Lauren felt like a doer instead of an avoider. 2 months later, Rachel passed away, but her mission lived on through Lauren, Mark, and David. What started out as an idea became action. They raised thousands for the orphanage. They booked their first trip to Peru. And something else happened too. Lauren showed up differently at work. She stopped hesitating. She stopped waiting for motivation. She just took action every single day. And the results? Well, they started pouring in. Ladies and gentlemen, as I told you in the beginning of this book, it's a fictional book, but every single one of these things have happened. So I get a little choked up because the cancer story and the brain story is all true. Different friends of mine, and it strikes a chord. So when we think about this, think about those things that we've all experienced. And you're like, hey, I get to go work out this morning, because some people woke up with no legs. Some people have the flu so bad they can't get out of bed. Some people don't have a gym membership. And that's a simple way of how all that translates. And it'll make you start living life instead of just walking through life. And we've all felt it. We've all felt in flow. This is about how to keep in flow. It's about having more purpose in your life than just serving yourself. And that's really the idea with this story. Here's a lady who's getting ready to quit because of her ego, because she got her feelings hurt, because she doesn't want to do the work, because she's in fear. And fear is never the right decision. So there's a coach of mine used to say, hey, you can have reasons or you can have results, but you cannot have both, meaning either do or don't do. And ladies and gentlemen, not to be on my soapbox, I see so many people and they just don't do. And then all these repercussions of it's hard to pay the bills. It's hard to get out of bed, or I don't feel good, or I snap at the kids. All these things that Lauren's going through, we all go through, including me. But the key is to catch yourself quick and develop that attitude of gratitude. We're like, hey, things are a little tough, but I can get through it. And that's developing that mindset that you feel in your heart is so critical. You know, so many people think I do mortgage loans for a living or whatever it is that you sell or do. Okay, but why do you do it? What's in it for you? What are we getting besides making a living? And when we start attaching long-term goals and short-term goals to feelings, we start having that growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. And anybody can do it. It's just training your emotions and your brain and your thought processes to where every day can be really, really good. And that's the whole idea here. It's about passion. You know, I had someone tell me that your passions are things that you're willing to sacrifice for. And so if we're willing to sacrifice being uncomfortable a little bit and making some sales calls, then we know that we like it. We sacrifice for our kids all the time, whether it's helping them learn to drive or helping them with their homework every night. We don't hesitate for our kids because we're passionate about our kids. So some of us just aren't passionate enough about our work lives. But yet we spend over 60% of our waking hours at work. And so when I see people and they've kind of lost the passion for what we do, find a way to get back in touch with that. That's what Lauren's going through. That's the whole point of that chapter. And unfortunately, it took one of her friends dying of brain cancer to realize that. Aligning your business mission with something meaningful makes you feel alive and improves your performance at least threefold. That's the whole point of this chapter. So when we move on to the next chapter, we're going to see what it does for her. All this transformation that she's been through culminates into the final chapter. I can't wait for you to listen.